Greetings, as we near the year's end, I felt inspired to do something unique. I've taken the time to scrutinize the feedback from you guys. From this, I've identified a couple of standout ideas from 2023, strategies that have proven highly effective in securing victories for both you and my other students. Today, I'm thrilled to unveil two incredibly potent concepts that can pave the way for a relatively straightforward win, even when facing experienced opponents. But wait, there's more. I've got an intriguing chess puzzle waiting for all of you. Be sure to stick around until the end to enjoy the complete experience. Let's delve into them. The initial concept is essentially an enhanced version of the scholar's checkmate. You might already be familiar with the scholar's checkmate, but let me quickly go over it just in case. We start with queen to h5, putting pressure on the pawn. Black defends, and we play bishop to c4. If your opponent makes a careless move like knight to f6, expecting your queen to retreat, we execute the checkmate with queen takes f7. While this is a well-known strategy, I'll introduce an idea that can prove effective even against players rated 2000 and beyond. Instead of opting for the more typical queen h5 move at this point, let's initiate with the classical move knight to f3, putting pressure on the pawn. Black responds with knight to c6, setting the stage for the Scotch game. However, instead of the conventional approach of moving your knight to d4 to recapture the pawn, a surprising twist occurs as your knight leaps to g5. The apparent goal is to create pressure on a pawn, a strategy that can be further intensified by playing bishop c4 in the next move, attacking the pawn twice. However, this seemingly innocent move conceals a lethal tactic. In most cases, opponents may be irritated by the knight's presence and play pawn h6, hoping to drive the knight away. Yet, you are prepared to sacrifice the knight, advancing to expose the king. After king takes, the bishop swiftly moves to c4, delivering a check to the king. Now, your opponent must decide where to move the king, and the instinctive reaction is often to retreat it to safety on e8. Surprisingly, this move turns out to be a losing mistake. Following this, you play queen h5, delivering a tempo check to the king, and now our scholar's checkmate idea takes shape. After the king moves to e7, it closely resembles the scholar's checkmate in practice. Remarkably, this tactic remains effective even against highly skilled opponents. And now you have multiple ways to conclude the game. The simplest one to remember is bishop to f4, repeatedly delivering checks until you achieve checkmate. While Stockfish might criticize this as unsportsmanlike behavior, claiming there are ways to escape the trap, this doesn't hold true against human opponents. Humans frequently fall into such traps, and even if they don't get checkmated immediately, their king remains exposed, leading to a sustained, advantageous attack. I've also created another video, linked above and in the description, which provides guidance on what to do if your opponent doesn't fall into the trap, but still faces a strong attack. The next concept is equally potent, resembling an enhanced rendition of the fried liver attack, and I'm confident you'll find it intriguing. Firstly, let's establish the standard for a fried liver attack. In this prevalent opening position, when white goes knight to g5, if black is not familiar with this variation, they are in trouble. The threat is directed at the pawn on f7, and the seemingly logical response for black is to play d5, obstructing the diagonal. However, when white captures and black reflexively recaptures, it becomes a critical mistake leading to a loss. Indeed, the correct move is knight to a5, but when knight takes d5 is played, it leads to a brilliant sacrifice: knight takes f7, king takes, followed by bringing the queen forward with a double attack on the knight and the king. This sequence allows us to regain the knight while maintaining the pressure on the king, resulting in a crushing position for black. However, the challenge lies in the fact that most opponents are familiar with the standard fried liver attack. To overcome this, a clever trick can be employed to catch even those who are well versed in the standard threat. Instead of going knight g5 immediately, insert an in-between move with pawn to d4, creating the illusion of a pawn trade. After black captures, the subsequent move is still knight g5, attacking the pawn. This move often catches opponents off guard, especially when they are familiar with the standard variation. As they start thinking independently, their logical process leads them to play pawn d5, thinking it's the right move. After you capture on d5 and they recapture with their knight, they may believe they are on familiar ground, but the position, although slightly different, sets the stage for a very similar combination. The idea remains the same, emphasizing knight takes f7 followed by queen to h5 tactics. However, a crucial detail is to play an additional in-between move by castling first. This subtle adjustment can significantly impact the dynamics of the position. Playing knight takes f7 may seem appealing at first, but it's a bad move. If black responds with queen to e7, it creates an annoying check that needs to be addressed. To avoid this, the key is to castle first. This move not only sidesteps potential threats, but also introduces a new unpleasant threat for black. With the possibility of playing rook to e1 and putting more pressure on black's position, the game takes a decisive turn in your favor. Even when black tries to develop with moves like bishop to e7, attempting to castle, you can still exploit the same tactical idea in a slightly altered position. Knight takes f7 comes into play, followed by the familiar queen f3, executing a double attack on the king and the knight. With your bishop supporting this attack, black finds themselves in a difficult position, often leading to a decisive advantage for you. When black attempts to defend the exposed king, moving it forward often proves deadly, as it becomes a prime target for your attacks. If black plays bishop to f6 in an attempt to provide cover, you can respond with bishop takes d5, delivering a check to the king. After black moves the bishop to e6 to defend, capturing on e6 creates vulnerabilities in black's position. The exposed nature of black's king leaves them susceptible to various attacking options, providing you with several promising ways to continue your assault. In one possible variation, playing queen to b3 puts pressure on black. While black may respond with queen to d5, seemingly a good positional move to centralize and protect the king, it turns out to be a significant blunder, as black's position becomes increasingly difficult to defend. In addition to defending the exposed king, black faces another challenge after rook to e1. They now have the task of safeguarding their queen, leaving both of their most valuable pieces vulnerable. For instance, after the move rook to e1, if black plays bishop to e5, a clever move like pawn to c4 can seal the game. This move attacks the black queen, and if black captures the pawn on c4, it opens up the d file for exploitation. Subsequent moves such as trading pawns and playing rook to d1 take advantage of the pin, leading to material gains and a devastating position for black. Even when opponents avoid falling into this particular trap, they often succumb to other tactical threats. In this position, after playing pawn d4 and following up with knight to g5 to attack the pawn on f7, if black captures the pawn with knight takes d5, it often leads to a losing position. More advanced opponents might opt for a move resembling the main line of the two knights game, playing knight to a5. In response, after knight to a5, we go for bishop to b5 check, pawn c6, somewhat similar to the main line, and then bishop to d3. At this point, the position is typically about equal. However, what frequently happens is that black plays pawn h6 to deal with the annoying knight, but then follows up with bishop e7 for development. Subsequently, it turns out that black's last move was a mistake because now you can grab the pawn with knight takes d4, securing a central knight while black's knight remains misplaced on the edge of the board. If black, thinking you miscalculated, captures the knight on d4, a devastating tactic comes into play: bishop h7 check to the king, winning the queen on the next move. Now, it's time for a puzzle. In the given position, it's white's turn, and you need to find the best move for white. Share your answers in the comments, and let's see how many of you can solve it correctly. Also, Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with future videos. Take a moment to check out the other videos appearing on your screen right now. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care and peace.